What's up, guys? Welcome to this episode of Beers and Breakdowns. Thanks for coming. We're gonna watch the movie Top Gun Maverick.
Maverick!
Oh my gosh. Alright, so let's just start by saying if you haven't seen this movie, please go watch it. So we should also discuss, why is it Green Beret breaking down Maverick? I'm not a pilot. I don't know what all the pilot scenes are. Probably some of the coolest pilot scenes I've ever seen in my entire life. I can't say anything about that. However, this movie has a lot to do with special operations mindset. Like, it's all about small teams, high risk, high skill level. It's a special operations team. They just happen to be pilots. Mm-hmm. But there's no doubt about it that this team is a special operations team of pilots. And they're super badass. So there's a lot of things that relate to special operations and the dynamic in this movie, how they show teamwork, how they show work, like how even though you could be the best, you could still get excluded because you don't know how to play well with others. Mm-hmm. It's not always about skill level. And a big one is like, never leave a man behind.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of things that are special operations related in this movie, and that's what we're going to talk about. And then also the elephant in the room, Scientology.
Tom Cruise is a gem and a gift to the world, and his movies are absolutely fucking amazing. Mm-hmm. So he can just Scientology it the fuck up all he wants. I really don't care if it's for tax purposes. I don't care if it's because he actually thinks that a spaceship is coming to pick him up. If he keeps making the movies that he makes, like this one,
yeah,
I'm never gonna say a fucking word about it.
Yeah, he could have his until they beam him up, man. Just keep making movies.
Alpha 3, Passing Mach 9.4 and
This is where we've had trouble with comms, sir. It's Did anyone offer you a coffee?
All right, pause. So this is, I love this dude. Coleman is his name. Is his last name in here? The Navy guy.
Is it? I didn't see.
Yeah, his last name was Coleman. I love this guy. I've never seen. I don't know. Maybe we've seen him and I don't recognize him.
I think I have, but it's just not a significant role enough to remember him.
Yeah.
And it says his name is Bashir. I think it was on there in the beginning of this movie,
but in here it's Coleman, and he is amazing. It's fucking incredible, and I love right away when he was like, and he was like, so we're been having some significant comms issues, yeah. And he just flows with it perfectly. It's like, that's a fucking wingman right there. Like, that's a homie. That guy gets it, and he's got your back. And this dude ends up having his back the entire fucking movie. He's such a badass.
And then we got Ed Harris.
Oh, Ed Harris,
who's possibly one of the most amazing actors of all time.
The Rock, like in The Rock, he just solidified it for me.
It's just the roles that he plays. He does such a good job at just being this mean, just bastard of an actor. Yeah. And you can take him seriously whenever he's put in one of those roles of authority. He does so well. And it's just like, it has everything to do with taking a movie seriously. Fucking love that guy.
Yeah, he's awesome. I will always go back to The Rock and his amazing performance in The Rock. I loved it so much.
The visuals look so amazing of this whole beginning scene that it's just a masterclass for people who would put on a masterclass. You know what I mean? This is like clearly the cream of the crop with the video, with the cinematography, with the cameras, the editing, the colors,
acting.
Oh my God, it's so amazing. And if you're sitting there watching this show right now being like, oh, these guys are just going to sit here and fanboy over this movie for the entire time, you are absolutely fucking right. Because that's exactly what we're going to do. We're not, the foot's not going to drop anywhere in this show, and we're going to be like, but this was fucking stupid.
They didn't make a single mistake.
It's not going to happen.
Fucking beautiful. It's so great. It's
movie.
So good.
30 plus years of service. Combat medals. Citations. Only man to shoot down 3 enemy planes in the last 40 years. Distinguished. 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 Yet you can't get a promotion. You won't retire. And despite your best efforts, you refuse to die. You should be at least a 2.
For some reason, there's a guy, armed guy
Like,
out the door.
holding it like he's ready to fucking go, too.
Yeah. It's like, who's going to come in to fuck with Ed Harris, dude? I think he can handle himself. No one's coming in here, sir. How about you stand on the outside of the fucking door? You fucking dickhead.
He looks like no one's getting out of here.
He's like, you're not leaving, bro.
I know.
You talk shit to Ed, I'm popping you in the face.
So my question is he's clearly in big trouble for what he did. Have you ever done anything in your military career or know of somebody in their military career who's done something so off script and just so like, I know I'm about to get in huge trouble for this, but I'm doing it anyway?
In combat, for sure, because you just do what you got to do. And it's like the only thing that matters in combat is what is the right thing to do right now.
Right.
Like, to me, I've never had an issue or a gray area when it came to the right thing to do. It may have been against rules or against policies, but at the end of the day, like, your morals like really shine through it, and like what you think is right just fucking comes to the forefront without any question. And then the only question is like, do I follow that or do I listen to the rules? And I always go with what I think is right, because at the end of the day, that's what I think, and I want to rest on my morals and not your fucking rules and regulations that could be stupid.
Yeah, exactly. That's why I was asking the question, because I know at some point in time, you and everybody else, especially in that type of a higher risk position, is going to have to make a choice whether if like something I should do now, knowing that somebody told you not to do it, and you're going to get in trouble for it when you get back.
Yeah. Well, okay, I do have a story for you. So we were in Afghanistan, and my team sergeant said, take the Tier 1 commandos. So not the Afghan commandos had... We were with Afghan Special Forces, and then they had a Tier 1 element. Well, that Tier 1 element's like 8 dudes, and they're really fucking combat heavy. They're like a Mosul kind of force. So we had those guys, and he was like, take a 50 cal, set it up on a roof position. Well, we took the 50 cal. It took us all out of the fight because everyone's carrying barrels to the 50. We're carrying ammunition. Like, we're running across open fields, taking contact, and we can't shoot back because we're just lugged down with weight. And it was me and my teammate Corey. And so we get to the building, and then we find out that the position that we were supposed to be in Overwatch has no view whatsoever. It's terrible. It's a horrible position. And so the commandos, the Tier 1 element guys, is like, go, fuck you guys, we're out of here. And we're like, what? Like, we're Americans. You work for us. Like, you're supposed to do what we tell you to do because we're dictating the force. And they were like, no, we're not doing it. We're leaving. So you could keep your fucking 50 cal and your stupid ass plan, and we're leaving. So me and Corey decided at that point, it was like, well, this is a stupid plan. They're right.
Right.
And we're not going to just listen to our boss and go, do stupid shit. So we fucking bailed on it. And we said, fine, let's go back, put the 50 cal back, and get back in the fight the way we should be in the fight. And that's with their M4s, mobile and moving fast.
Right.
And they were like, fine, that's what we're going to do. So if you're going to come with us, that's cool. But when we got back to the trucks, my team sergeant was there, and he's like, what the fuck are you guys doing here? Why isn't that position set up? And we're like, no, it's stupid. We're not doing it. And we're about to lose our fucking force if we continued on with your plan. So yeah, sometimes you just have to be like, listen, this is a dumbass decision, and boots on the ground is the proving what's right and what's not, over the good idea fairy that showed up last minute. And so yeah, you go with your gut.
But not today.
Gosh, damn, it's good.
Oh, the song is so sick, man.
That's another thing about this movie, the soundtrack.
Oh yeah. Soundtrack is amazing. And crazy stories. Not crazy, it's kind of a stupid story, but when I was young, I watched the original movie, and I wasn't like, I'm a metalhead. Any of you guys know any of like other stuff that I put on YouTube, any of the other channels that I have personally? I'm a metalhead. I play guitar, and it's just what I'm into. I'm into metal, shit like that. But when I was young, I didn't know what metal was or rock. So I thought anything I heard that was just different from like country music or pop or anything like that, I thought that was hardcore shit. So when that movie came out, I heard Kenny Loggins, right? I heard like all this synthesizer piano stuff, and I thought it was like hard rock. And I made my dad buy me the tape. And then I played the tape so much that it eventually broke. That's how long I played that cassette tape, because I thought it was rock and metal at the time I was a kid.
If you guys don't know what a cassette tape is,
or a Walkman, you just freaking headphones that aren't hi-fi.
last time I had a cassette tape, it was all white, and it was Vanilla Ice, and he made a white cassette tape. I was like, nice. Put it in. It's like ice, ice, baby. Dun, 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 dun.
I remember. I think we had that. I think we had a CD of that at that point. I think we had a CD by the time we figured out Ice Ice Baby.
I had a tape.
We could have had a tape too. I
had
don't
a
remember.
tape. It was a white fucking cassette tape.
It was a white cassette tape?
Yep.
That's funny. Did it have the B-side where it's just like without?
Mm-hmm.
So that you could rap over it if you wanted to?
Oh, no. I don't know.
I think most tapes used to come with a B-side. And it would have the hit song. Like if it was a single, you would get that same song but without the vocals.
Oh, okay.
I remember because my cousin had Regulate. Warren G.
Yeah.
He had that one, and then he had the B-side of it that he would always play in his truck because he'd rap to it and like knew it so well that he would rap over that. And I was like, oh, that's what that's for.
Was it for freestyling or is it for just singing the
Just like if you want to karaoke the song with that tape, I guess.
Oh.
It's the only thing I can think of. I don't know why they would give you the same thing without the vocals, but
probably for freestyling.
And then crazy enough, I do work for different music stores and different like just places as a freelance videographer. And this music store invited me to come down and interview Steve Stevens. So for those of you who don't know, Steve Stevens and another guy are the creator of the theme song that you just heard for this song. So I actually got to talk to him about how he, how that whole project came about recording that song and how he did it on the spot. And the theme song was written very quickly. And how he went to this, if you guys haven't seen it, there's this like crazy, super like gaudy 80s video of him shooting the music video with the open shirt. And there's like all these airplanes, fighter jets hanging around in this hangar with lights and stuff. It was
sick,
pretty super 80s, and it was awesome. But I got to ask him about that and what that process was like shooting that video. It was actually pretty cool. But
he's still got that big ass hair.
Oh, he's still got the big ass hair, and he's still got the sunglasses on. He walks in and he sits down. He's still got the open shirt and the hair, and he's just like, all right, I'm here.
Why can't 80s people let that shit go?
I have no idea.
But you gotta change, Pat Benatar. Like that shit ain't cool no more. Like you gotta let it ride, bro.
We went to dinner with him afterwards at the super fancy place in San Diego and had dinner with him.
Did you have to pay?
No.
He's like, listen,
Did
man,
you have to pay for
Top
it?
Gun 2 ain't come out in a minute. Like, I need money.
No, luckily the music store that I was doing the work for paid for everybody's dinner at this place. They like sent one of their, the general manager took us all out.
That dude's probably like, thank God.
But yeah, I didn't learn anything about him. He didn't really talk very much. He just kind of sat there and ate and just kind of nodded and said a few words here and there to the general manager. But I didn't, dare to think I was worthy to speak among him. So I just didn't say anything. I just sat around.
If you guys don't know, as we start to meet like more, and I hope this doesn't sound douchey, but as you start to meet more and more celebrities, like in their own rights, a lot of them don't have money. A lot of this stuff doesn't pay nearly what you think. Like you could know a lot of people and like know them because you know their music, you know what they've done, and they are fucking broke because it was a short blip.
Well, he might be an exception. If you don't know, he's Billy Idol's guitar player. And I think they're still doing their thing. They might have even come out with an album not that long ago. Which is funny because he has like these, he's got like this line of toys because on stage what he'll do is he'll create sounds by putting this alien guns, like, like weird alien, I guess, bullets you would call them, and he puts them on his guitar and he makes crazy noises. And he's still Billy Idol's guitar player to this day. So
nice.
It's, yeah.
Oh, that's badass.
So I don't know if he's broke, but I know that a lot of guys that are from that era still doing stuff today are most certainly broke.
It's like you could hire him.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like you can pay.
It's pretty crazy. One thing I learned, and I'm not going to say any names, is when I got into the music world and I started, your idols, when you're in metal's a pretty, it's not, obviously there's no money in metal, right? It's all in pop, country, all these other, blues, all that stuff. It's definitely not in metal. There's some, but not a lot. Most people don't know half of the people that are thriving in metal. So I would be like, oh man, I love this guitar player because he's been my idol forever. And then I'll realize that I could literally get a lesson from him for like $150 for an hour.
Yeah, that's a trip.
And that's a trip because I'm like, oh, this guy probably doesn't care. This guy doesn't even check his DMs. This guy's way too busy. He's like famous being an amazing guitar player. And then you see something like a promotion or something. And I'm like, what? And then you just DM him. Like, can I get a guitar lesson? He's like, yeah, sure. Get him on Skype for an hour. Your idol. You just talk to him. It's fucking nuts.
That is sick.
Yeah, they're broke.
They're broke. It's like, make good investments, people.
Truth is the truth. They're broke.
I'm Admiral Bo Simpson. I'm the air boss. Believe me, Admiral Bates.
Well, sir, must admit I wasn't expecting an invitation back.
I've called orders, Maverick. You two have something in common. Cyclone here was first in his class back in '88.
Cyclone.
Actually, sir, I finished second. Just want to manage expectations.
It's funny. He didn't think so.
The target.
So, do you know the story of how John Hamm got in this movie?
No. The last time I saw John Hamm was in a Progressive commercial.
With Flo?
Yeah, he was
Would
like,
she call him Tom Jan or something?
yeah,
like that?
she was like, oh, you were the struggling actor. And he was like, yeah, you want to go out sometime?
He does this interview where he talks about how he met Tom Cruise a long time ago, and this is during the Mad Men era, which is one of my favorite shows of all time. Jimmy Fallon threw a football party, and he said that Tom Cruise was coming. So there's a bunch of people like John Hamm. So imagine John Hamm during that Mad Men era when that show was at its peak. He's famous, right? So all these famous people are hanging out, and everybody's like famous, but still like, nah, dude, Tom Cruise ain't showing up. Like, you're lying. They thought he was lying. They thought he was playing a prank, and that somebody was going to show up like a lookalike or an impersonator, and he was just going to prank his house for fun. And then apparently Tom Cruise shows up with his mom. But anyway, he tells him that he loves the show Mad Men. And so years later, I don't know how many years, I don't remember how many, but he gets a call from his agent, and basically Tom Cruise is saying he wants him to be in a role in the movie, and every one of his scenes is going to be with Tom Cruise.
It's fucking sick.
So, I mean, how amazing is that? And he said yes, unanimously. He's like, I don't care about the money. I don't care about like the scheduling conflicts. It is an absolute yes, because I guess that was his favorite movie of all time. So,
and we do that when you're on your passion. You find your passion in life. When certain people call you, it doesn't matter the money. It doesn't matter. Like you're going.
Mm-hmm.
Like different when Evan Hafer called us.
When Black Rifle called us.
Rifle, and Evan's like, "You want to come kick it in Utah?" I was like, "Yeah, of course I do." Like, and with all due respect to Evan paid for everything.
He did,
but he didn't have to. We would have, without question, paid for all our flights and all our hotel and reservations and everything. Evan's just a good, generous dude. But that's the kind of thing is like when you have these people in your life and they say, do you want to work with us? Mm-hmm. Because you guys are both simultaneously like, on your own rise, regardless of the level of the rise. Someone else's rise could be up here. Yours is here. It doesn't matter. As soon as you're both rising because of hard work and dedication, you connect like that. So you see each other, It's like you could be far beyond me, but we see each other because it's a pattern. Right. And we're replicating that pattern, and we all want to be around other people who are replicating that pattern. That's why, like, someone who's successful or on their way to success or finding success doesn't want to associate with people that don't understand the pattern of success. Because it's like, if I hang out with you, I have to either bring you on and just do it with me because you don't understand how it works, or I have to coach you through it and hope that maybe you'll get it somehow.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, I would rather just find other people that understand it and are doing the same thing and then just link up with them because we're already on the same page.
Right.
Said valley is GPS jammed and defended by an extensive surface-to-air missile array, serving a limited number of fifth-generation fighters, which in turn are backed up by a plentiful reserve of surplus aircraft.
Okay, so my question is, in this movie, they keep referencing fifth-generation fighters. So essentially, they're going to go up against planes that are far beyond the U.S.'s technology. Is that something you guys have experienced when you guys are going out there? Has the enemy ever had something in terms of either purchasing or having technology that's just far beyond the U.S.'s capabilities, and you have to make a note of that?
That's a great question, and no, fuck no.
No.
Like, not even close.
Yeah, I thought that it was odd. I was like, why would they have such amazing planes and then we still have sort of old technology?
Yeah. Like, I'm not saying that it doesn't exist, and I'm not saying that there's no way that the U.S. is falling behind in some way, shape, or form, because that would just be naive. However, in my experience and the things that I've seen, and that's given the fact that we've been fighting in a sandbox for 21 years.
Totally different country.
It's a completely different country. It's a third world country. Like, there's no way they have anything close to what we have. But I think that's a really cool perspective change and a perspective shift, especially as we're starting to transition out of combat in Afghanistan and Iraq and Middle Eastern countries and third world countries. Is like, that will become something to concern yourself with. You know, if you ever go to war with somebody that has the same capabilities as you, there's going to be times when you're ahead because you're both doing this. There's going to be times when they're ahead, and then there's times when you're ahead. And how do you combat being behind?
Right.
And I think if that was the case, you would do your best to draw from countries like Afghanistan, who all they've ever done is fought from behind. And how they've transitioned their tactics to guerrilla warfare, to waiting people out to time, Ukraine right now, and how they're handling Russia, who's clearly has a lot more money and capabilities and infrastructure than Ukraine. So it's like, what do? It's like you revert back to guerrilla warfare. It's Red Dawn. You just have to change your tactics, and you have to adjust your approach. So have I experienced us being behind? I have not, but Green Berets are taught to deal with being behind, and all that is adjustment of tactics and figuring out how to basically be Afghanistan versus US. Regardless of their atrocities against, civilian populations, as fighters, they're ingenious, because they constantly overwhelming larger forces with more money, more capability, and more technology.
Right.
So you definitely just have to adjust your tactics and your shift your focus.
Gotcha.
But have I experienced it? Fuck no. We've always had far superior technology.
All right, that's enough. Brewster, that's enough, man.
All right, so this brings me to probably something that all of you soldiers and people watching, including yourself, are probably very, very fond of, PT. So my question is, have you guys ever made bets when you guys have been out in the field or doing any type of a training exercise where the penalty was insane amounts of PT?
100%.
Have you ever lost?
No.
No? Have you ever seen anybody lose?
Yeah.
What have you guys done?
We've used punishments, PT for punishments throughout the military. We've had guys have to do duck walks, and we've had to have them do like burpee jumps. The burpee mile. Have you ever heard of that?
No.
You have to go a fucking mile doing burpee jumps. So it's burpee, jump as far as you can, burpee, jump as far as you can for a mile.
Oh my God.
It's called the burpee mile. And we had a Green Beret, a fucking Green Beret, leave his pistol on the pisser. Yes.
Shit.
He left his pistol on the pisser while he was taking a leak and walked away. In Afghanistan, in combat, like, motherfucker, you know how many people could grab your pistol and start going and killing motherfuckers? Like, that was such a huge mistake that his senior, who's in CAG now, made him do a burpee mile and watched him as he's in 105-degree heat doing a burpee mile. And if you think that he got out of any bit of that mile, you are mistaken. He almost passed the fuck out of heat exhaustion. He did a burpee mile.
That is nuts.
And he deserved far more than a burpee mile. You don't leave your fucking gun somewhere.
Yeah.
So in the military, using PT as a correction device is a great way to, correct somebody. And honestly, it's the best. It's a preferred method, because that burpee mile is going to destroy you. You're never going to forget it. But one thing that it does not do is go on your permanent record. So if I give you an Article 15, I just ruined your whole career.
Okay.
But if I give you a burpee mile, I could just have corrected that entire behavior and still allowed you to flourish as a Green Beret.
That's a very good point.
Oh, shit.
Why are they dead?
We broke the 300-foot ceiling. Yeah, Sam took us out.
No. Why were they dead?
I slowed down and I didn't give her a warning. It's my fault.
Was there a reason you didn't communicate with your team?
I was focusing on
One that their family will accept at the funeral.
No, sir.
Don't tell me. Tell Victor's family.
I fucking love that scene. I love that scene so much. And I love it when he says, don't tell me, tell it to his family. And that dude in the glasses, like, just looks down like he's also embracing the fact that he's dead. And you're having to explain it to his family. Like, again, the acting is just fucking incredible. But that's the whole point of the special operations mindset, is there's never a fucking excuse. It's never an excuse. You can never blame anybody else ever, ever, ever. And my daughter hates it, because anytime excuses come up, I'm like, bullshit, calling bullshit. I don't say bad words, but don't fucking do it. That's a dead stop. It's never anyone else's fault. It's always your own fault. You're the one that's in control of your actions, And whether someone else did something completely stupid or not, you're the one that can adjust to their stupidity.
Right.
It always lands on you. And that is the Special Forces mindset. It's like it always, always lands on you. I don't give a shit if 10 people in front of you did stupid shit to lead you to this fucking mistake. You should have had enough knowledge and training and thought process to anticipate those 10 things until you could fix it.
Yeah.
There's never ever a fucking excuse. It's always on you. And then I love that Tom stops him and says, don't tell me. I don't want to hear your excuse. Tell his family.
Yeah.
Tell his family, because that's what it is. At the end of the day, you think you have an excuse, but you're thinking your excuse is this classroom level
Right.
to get through. No. Hey, you could fucking do whatever you want to do. But then you're going to go have to tell his fucking family after you kill him
Right.
why you did that.
Yeah.
That is the ultimate end all be all to excuses. Like, don't tell me shit. I don't want to hear it. I don't even want to know. I don't give a fuck what your excuse is. All you're going to be left with is the consequences of your failures. So take responsibility and get your shit right. And when he says, don't tell me, tell his family, and that guy looks down, it's like he's not mad at her. He's like contemplating, like, fuck, like this, we're all intertwined. We're all connected. His mistake could end up killing 3 people back.
Right.
And those ones are going to lose their fucking lives. And their families are going to be left with it. Because as operators, we accept our death.
Right.
Like, you go into it knowing it's a high risk situation. Death is highly likely. You know, there's one mission in Afghanistan where every night we were leading up to the mission, we're getting briefed like we're going to war with fucking Russia. It's like, oh, there's a heavy machine gun fucking position here. There's a heavy machine gun position here. There's 500 fighters coming in to meet you guys. There's 600 fighters coming in. There's 700 fighters. I was like, we're dead.
Yeah.
Like, I went into it knowing, I was like, I'm dead. There's no way we're gonna fucking survive. Every intel brief is like worse and worse. Dushka positions everywhere, and I was like, we're dead. It's not about us. It's about who we leave in the wake of our deaths, and that's what sucks. And so that's what I like that they hit home, because like obviously if I get schwacked, like I signed up for this shit,
Yeah.
but my family didn't sign up for this shit, and it sucks for them, and I have to cope with the fact that. How are they going to cope with me getting killed?
Right. What's Dushka mean?
Dushka's a anti-aircraft machine gun that a lot of the ISIS and Taliban had. And it's fucking terrifying because it's like a giant explode. The round's like this fucking big. And it rips through anything. And the thing's like, go doosh, 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 doosh. And once they have one of those set up, and they're like, we're going into a valley, and they had it briefed that at the end of this valley is a mountain. And in that mountain is a Dushka position that's set up to line up on that whole fucking valley. So that means as we're lined up with our convoys, they could just go doo, 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 and it's fucking game over. Like, we're all getting ripped through. The vehicles are getting ripped through, our armor's getting ripped through, like we're fucked. And so luckily, you know, we went into it thinking we're gonna die, and then luckily, the fact that we went anyway scared the fighters. So all these hundreds and hundreds of fighters that were supposed to meet us to fight, at the last minute got cold feet and fled to Pakistan. I mean, they left some, and then as we're fighting through this valley, you're finding fucking pill packets, empty pill packets everywhere. So these guys are so scared, they're doping up. They're taking meds fucking to keep them going, to keep them in the fight. So there's certain people that are low hanging fruit within the Taliban and within ISIS, and they're like, you're staying. And so they just give them a bunch of drugs.
Wow.
And it's like, listen, take this, keep fighting, and you're dead. Like, and we killed them. A fucking lot of them.
That's crazy.
You're going too fast, man! Well, no harm in being ahead of schedule. Damn it, slow down! I can't stay on the course! No, you're gonna hit the wall! Watch out, watch out, watch out!
What happened? Well, I flew as fast as I could. Kind of like my ass depended on it.
And you put your team in danger and your wingman's dead.
They couldn't keep up.
So that just shows that's another, like, it's team building. That's why in the Special Forces Assessment Selection, we have a whole week called Team Week. It's all about your performance with other people and learning how to put other people first. And the fact that he was just like, well, they couldn't keep up. I'm the man. Look what I could do. I can make it. I'm fastest. And he's all about him. Mm-hmm. And it's like, that is everything Special Operations tries to avoid, because we need to work cohesively as a team. We're stronger as one unit. We're never just individuals. Because, so it just, I love that scene because he ends up getting left off the main mission.
Right.
And he's the best. But it's like, I don't care how good you are. You're not a fucking team player. And the only way we succeed is we succeed as a team. We're strong together. You know, it's like that fucking analogy of you put the sticks together. Mm-hmm. What is it like? I don't know what the analogy was, like pens or. Either way, you have one pencil mm-hmm. and you try to break it and it breaks easy, but then you put 10 together and it's strong. It's like, it's just teamwork, man. So I love that they pointed out. It's like, hey, you think you're hot shit? Doesn't matter. You don't know how to play as a team. You're out.
Your speed. Within seconds, you'll be fired upon by enemy SAMs. You've all faced sustained Gs before, but this is going to take you and your aircraft to the breaking point.
Sir, is this even achievable?
The answer to that question will come down to the pilot in the box.
All right, so the mission that they're going on is obviously extremely dangerous. And they're essentially almost counting on the fact that somebody's not coming home. Mm-hmm. Wouldn't it be? So the whole point is they're going down into this valley and they're going to drop bombs into this very, very small target. But given the technology that we have, like today, can't they just drop a bomb from a very high altitude by honing in on it and just dropping it from there and mm-hmm. never sacrificing pilots? Mm-hmm. Okay. So they just needed it for the storyline.
Yeah. We used to do that all the time. We would go to sleep in Afghanistan, like, surrounded by enemy fighters. And they would just be getting murdered all night long. And it's like, it's like, we got to sleep, you know, like, we got to catch up. We would only sleep like 2 or 3 hours.
Okay.
But we have to like power down for at least a couple hours. So while we're going to sleep, they're maneuvering on us. And the aircraft above would just be like, doo, 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 doo. And you would all night long, doo, 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 doo. You could feel the fucking floor shaking while
they're just watching your position going above,
yep.
just taking everybody out.
Yeah. So our JTAC wouldn't sleep.
And
he would have to take medication to not sleep for days on end.
Oh my God.
Because he can't sleep. If he sleeps, we're fucked. So the only reason we could sleep is because he wouldn't sleep. So our JTAC would, you know, take some medication, stay awake. And I remember one day he was like, we were standing next to him and he looks, Max, what's up, brother? Max looks at the ground and goes, you guys see that? And he's pointing at the dirt. And I was like, Max, you all right? And he's like, yeah, man, I'm fine. Can you see that though? Like, what is that? What the fuck? What is that? He's like, this red dot. It's just floating around. Like, what the fuck is that? Is that a laser? And I was like, dude, you gotta fucking sleep, bro. I was like, there's nothing on the ground. And he's like, nah, I'm all right. You don't see it though? Ah, fuck it. No, I'm good though.
That's crazy.
Because he was just awake for days on end. But while we're sleeping, he's calling approval on those shots. So while the enemy's maneuvering on us and we're sleeping, they'd be like, hey, we got 5 packs moving your location. You know, we positively identify weapon systems in hand. And he would be like, all right, send it. And he would get to determine what to send. You know, if he had the AC-130 above, mm-hmm. he'd be like, send this round, send that round, send this round. So he's just coordinating aircraft. And he's got the Apaches. He's like, nope, you know, hold off for this one. So he's got layers of aircraft.
Right.
And he's determining what's the best use of his aircraft because we have limited fuel. We have limited ammunition.
Okay.
He wants to, you know, make sure that he's managing all their ammunition properly and their fuel in the time that he has them.
Right.
So all night long, he's just like, okay, yep, send it. And I remember waking up one time and I looked next to me because we're just sleeping on the dirt. And he's just sitting there staring at the floor, like dazed the fuck out and just working. And he's gone, but his mind is just doing what he's taught to do.
Wow.
And he's like, yep, use this round. Yep, send it. Nefarious activity. Roger that. Moving towards our location. Send this round. Impact 3, 2. All right, confirm we got 2 KIA. Roger that. Confirm 2 KIA. Okay, thank you. Appreciate you. Just keep, send this aircraft to hover above to make sure we're okay. Roger that. We're going to keep an eye on you. We're not moving for 6 hours, whatever, or 3 hours. So he's communicating with the aircraft the whole time. And people are getting killed this whole time, like around us. And I'm just trying to sleep because I'm like, I got to fucking...
That is fucking gnarly, dude.
That's how it works, dude. And I was like, I just got to sleep for 3 hours.
Mm-hmm.
And because I got go-go pills too. But when you haven't slept for 3 days, those go-go pills is like drinking a cup of coffee in the morning.
Mm-hmm.
It's like 10 minutes of pep.
Yeah.
And then you're right back to being like barely hanging on. So like I had to, all the Green Berets had to get down for an hour.
Blue team, that's a fail. Level out, Coyote. Coyote, copy. Coyote, come in. Coyote, level wings. Oh my god, he's in G-Lock. Coyote. Coyote.
He's gonna burn in.
I'm going after him. Come on, give me tone, give me tone, give me tone. Snap out of it, Coyote.
See, that scene doesn't make sense to me because it's like, even as a free fall parachutist, like we had an altimeter, and once we hit a certain elevation,
Mm-hmm.
like if we pass out, it's kind of the same thing. Like anytime you're doing free fall parachuting, I imagine being a pilot, there's always a chance that you could pass out.
Right.
And so you don't want to just be able to slam into the ground. So our parachutes have a certain, altitude that once we hit, it'll automatically cut and then release our chute. That way, if we pass out, we don't just die. So I can't imagine that with the millions and millions of dollars of this aircraft, that he doesn't have something in there to where he hits a certain altitude and it just auto ejects.
Yeah, but I guess the only problem with that is if you meant to go down to that altitude and you're just flying and then it fucking kicks you out of your own plane, you'd have to always remember to turn that off before you hit that altitude.
Yeah, something. I wish that's where it would be nice to ask a pilot.
Yeah.
But there's got to be some kind of fail-safe to where if you pass out, because going at those G's, it's got to be...
It's got to be common.
A common thing
Yeah.
for you to pass out. So what if even if it's not an auto eject, even if it's like a autopilot or something happens to where it's like, hey, I passed out, I'm clearly not in control anymore, and it takes over. It's a multi-million-dollar aircraft. My fucking Telluride, it fucking could stay in the lane if I let go of the wheel.
Right.
This fucking aircraft could do something if you just completely let go.
Right.
For
Agreed.
sure.
Yeah.
Who the hell's that?
Maverick to range control. Entering point Alpha. Confirm green range.
Ugh. That's so sick. Dude, that sucks. Oh, just hearing him like not be able to breathe.
To it.
That is one of the
Damn.
baddest fucking scenes, baddest ass scenes that I've ever seen in a movie ever in my fucking life.
It was so sick, dude. And I don't know if you picked up on the subtlety of the fact that as he's hitting 9 Gs and about to like pass the fuck out, he's also doing Bob's job and guiding the missile in. So he sends it and he's still guiding the laser for the laser guided missiles in. So he's about to lose consciousness and he's still looking out of the corner of his eye to guide in the missile.
Dude, that scene
It's
is so
fucking bananas.
badass. And I wish you guys could be in here to experience what it sounds like in this room to watch this movie and to see that scene.
All the bass.
Because I've got subwoofers all lined underneath and you can just feel everything that he does. Like when you see them like just like go up and go down and all the forces and the G forces are hitting, and it's like, it's such an anxiety-driven, insane experience. That scene is so badass, man.
The best part is that, like, obviously most people have never experienced what it's like to fly in a jet.
Exactly,
so
yeah.
It replicates how like intense that would be. He could barely breathe. He's almost passing out. He's like, it sounds like he's getting into a fight in there because he's just trying to like control his breathing and the G forces. It's like, I've never seen a movie portray the intensity of flying a jet that fast in that manner. And somehow they're able to pull it off and it looks insane.
Dude, they fucking killed it with that scene. It is just so sick.
All right, so that scene to me is a big deal because it's like that again is more special operations mindset where it's like you always go back and try to get somebody. Like even if success seems completely unlikely, like he got shot down, he's fucked, return to base, like you got to try. And there it's just built in us to always want to try to be there for each other and to help each other. And recently I was watching a documentary it was on Disney Plus, and it was by this amazing filmmaker who does extreme sports, and he's following these 3 kayakers who are going down the Congo in Africa. I think it was the Congo, and one of them gets attacked by an alligator and pulled under, and the other 2 just start immediately paddling away as fast as they can, and they leave him. And it pissed me off because it's like, if that was my friend, and I'm not speculating, I could say this with 100% certainty. If that was my friend, I'm going back to his kayak and I'm gonna fucking I'm gonna punch that oar into the water to try and scare off the alligator. Whatever I have to do, I'm gonna pull his fucking kayak up to see if he's still in there and to see if I could at least try. But they just left him, and it like crushed my heart that they just took off and were like, oh my God, he got attacked by the alligator, he's dead. You don't know he's dead. And just like this, it shows is like he got shot down, but you don't know he's dead. Like, try, give it a fucking shot. Like, we have an obligation to try, and you can't just be like, bye. And you know, maybe most people would just say bye, but it's not in me, and it's not in a lot of Green Berets to just say bye. We're gonna go back and fucking try. And if it results in us going down with them, well, I mean, that's how it goes. Black Hawk Down. You know, it's like, you gotta try. You don't go in it as a suicide mission. You're not going in it to fail.
Right.
You're going in it to hope for the best, and hopefully you can pull them out and win-win. You're always focused on that win, on that best case scenario. You have to try just in case there's a shot at that best case scenario. Otherwise, you live always wondering, what if you could have saved them?
Right.
And I guarantee you, those guys that paddled away in the Congo will always look back and wonder if they went back, maybe he would have been in that kayak still. Maybe they could have pulled him up. Maybe he just had one bite and the alligator just happened to let go. But they'll never know because they never didn't go back to check.
Right.
And I'm not trying to, make those guys feel like dicks. It's just not me, And in this one, he went back, and I appreciate that. Fuck, this movie's amazing.
Movie's amazing.
So if you guys haven't seen it, go check it out. And we hope you like that breakdown. If you guys don't know, we're doing a ton of shit for you guys. We got the Ruck Trainer going out. We got the Mentor program up and running. If you want to support the channel, we have a tier 3, which is support only, $25 a month. It helps us cover cost of flights and all the stuff we're trying to develop and the products we're trying to develop for you guys. We got tier 2 mentorship to coach you through the SF mindset. And tier 1 is one-on-one coaching to give you all the answers and help you be prepared. So go check out our store at the FNGacademy.com. We thank you guys so much for the support. We're busting our asses because nobody, and I mean nobody, is helping you guys get selected more than us. Talk to you guys next time.